Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Misguided Magic, our all-femme group of brains and brawn as we work together to unlock the mysteries of Omalia. I am your DM, Maria Oglesby. Um, Today we are joined by Beth,
Hello.
Chris, also known as Kristen with an I, Kristen, Allison, and Abby.
Hey.
To recap where we last left off, the group teleported from the strange poisonous plane that they had been stuck in for some time, coming to in an unfamiliar area that was pristine and well decorated, quickly realizing they were in the palace of Thundera, but in the wrong spot. A delegation brought by a messenger was led to them. A panic ensued, seeing the state they were in. Tibby was concerned that something had happened to the king. There had been an assassination attempt, and you guys quickly realized that no time, or next to no time, had elapsed the 2 days that you had been gone in this demi-plane. You called out a few things, that you had found the old politicians, that you had been trapped in a different plane, and that there had been, some sabotage afoot before Tibby ushered everybody away, warning you against saying too much, saying that your job was to make peace, and anything that could lead to arguments was likely to sort of start aggressions again, and just sort of warning you guys that there was a lot of bad blood here and things were on very thin ice. Bringing you to the rooms that you were sharing. She spoke with you a little bit before you guys explained everything to her, going over the journal, the information about DeJorn and his spell book. You guys were then invited to a fancy party to a theme of your choice. You selected the theme of fanciful and unity, with vibrant elegance as like a sub theme. After speaking with each other for a while, you left to investigate some of the politicians and some of the area, discovering a greenhouse through one of the gardeners that was dedicated to plants that were found in the grotto, realizing that several of the plants and several of the spores in there were similar to the spores that you had encountered in the demi-plane. You then made your way to the palace, looking for some of the politicians, and decided to knock on the door of Lenore Delmoine. You had a brief encounter with her, and Beetle realized that she may know one of her relatives, before quickly making your excuses and leaving to go back to your diplomat's estate in order to discuss things before moving forwards. She did extend an invitation to, I believe, Brosco and Scoria to play cards with her and perhaps have your fortune told in your tea leaves that night. Although I believe it was unclear whether you were going to attend, and also Beetle had invited herself. Um, so depending on what you guys are going to do, I would say we'll pick up back at the diplomat's estate. You guys enter through the door. The place is quiet. There doesn't seem to be anybody here.
Brasco's gonna kind of look at Peter Bug and be like, calm down.
Calm down.
You gotta calm down.
Listen, there is a history with that woman. She will ruin all of us. If she gets through Scoria's legs, then we are all doomed.
She didn't know who you were.
Well, she could have been playing dumb. Coy. Elves are good at that sort of thing. Treachery. All sorts of things like that.
Well, we still have a job to do, okay? We still have a job to do. So maybe just dial it down a little bit.
I can try, for the sake of the country.
Oh boy.
What do you guys like to do? What's your game plan?
Julian will go try to find some tea, whether it's something that she can make in the space or whatever. But I will get 2 cups of tea, and then I'd like to go find Hone.
We're getting echo from you.
Oh, ooh, big echo.
I think that's coming from Hone.
Oh no. Echoes coming from inside the home. Um, so I would find Hone with the tea, knock on his door, and offer it up as a hopeful, I don't know, conversational lubricant, I guess.
Kristen, turn down your speakers just a little bit. I think that's why we're getting the feedback.
Is that me?
Yeah.
There, I think
Yeah.
that's better.
Okay.
Ooh.
Sorry.
You can definitely find some tea. The servants that are there to attend you are there specifically to just attend you. So if you want to get one, they can make you tea. But there's also a fully furnished kitchen in the back if you want to make your own.
I think Julian would make her own just as a something to do. I feel like it's been an interesting day, to say the least. Um, but she would make the tea, go find Hone, and just knock on his door.
All right. So he'll just open his door and looks at her, and he already has a cup of his own tea in his hand.
Oh, well, I got more tea for you. I don't know. Maybe this is something different. But can I speak with you for a moment?
Sure. Come
Okay.
on in if you want. Or, yeah.
No, I just I know that you had mentioned some dreams that you've been having, and clearly that has impacted whatever you were able to do with deciphering this, you know, transportation. What am I thinking? Teleportation circle. Um, and I just, I have dreams too, visions sort of, and I kind of wanted to maybe compare notes if possible. Um, I don't know if are the dreams that you have, are they do they happen often?
Uh, he takes a sip of your tea that you offered him. They happen not too often, but these dreams are more of visions that my goddess Fiaba has given me. Uh, so I'm on a task to do her bidding. She, I understand you, you're, you are faithful to Mortara. Is that correct?
Yeah,
From yeah, I remember because you were holding her holy symbol once. I remember.
yeah,
So on the other side of the token, you know, Mortara is the goddess of death, and Fiaba is the goddess of life. So yes, I've been doing her bidding for quite a while, and she usually uh, tries to give me messages through these visions. So I suppose she didn't want me to die or us to die. And I'm not entirely sure what came over my body per se, but um, it felt that whatever visions I had that was given by her were things that I absolutely had to do.
interesting.
So I'm not sure if your dreams are similar in this way that perhaps your goddess has been trying to impart on you, but I hope that helps.
I think, geez, I'd rather have your dreams than mine. Mine always are followed with a fever, and she's not quite as direct, I think, as your goddess. Um, I just, when we were in the cave, I had a vision, a dream, I'm not quite sure, and I saw something I've seen before, which is this purple smoke, and now we've seen it again in the gardens, and it's maybe something to do with the grotto, but then there was also purple smoke when we were transported, and I'm trying to piece it all together, but I'm not quite sure I'm coming up with anything yet. So I wanted to, I don't know, maybe if I have more of these dreams or if you do, we can talk more about them just to see.
He sips the other tea. Yeah.
The better tea. I don't take offense. Um, I think also in a recurring vision that I have, there is this smoke, and there are two figures. One is a silhouette of looks like a female form, and then there's another form beside her that is changing constantly, but nothing else really sticks. It's just kind of the impression of all of that. So I don't know if you see anything like that. Let me know. But yeah, I just kind of wanted to check in and
Yeah.
also enjoy a peaceful moment outside of whatever the hell is going on with Beetle. Poor thing is just, I mean, if she had any hair, she'd be pulling it out. This is, oh, goodness.
As long as she doesn't um I don't know, whatever she does, I hope it doesn't ruin what we're trying to do.
Compromise our mission.
Yes, that.
I'm sure she and Scoria will talk it out. They seem to be really good together, so we'll see.
It seems so. They have, yes, they have a very, what seems to be a nice relationship. I do not envy it.
Well, understood. And on that note, I'll leave you to your piece. I just wanted to check in with you.
Thank you, Julian. Um, Thank you for sharing your what seems to be very frightful dreams. I've had many myself, and not they're not easy to cope with. Um, oops, I accidentally I accidentally um no, I don't want to take your call. Clean water action. Thank you. Okay.
Julian
um,
will dip out and leave him to his piece.
Having visions of otherworldly planes.
Yeah. Oh, you're muted.
Roscoe, what are you up to?
I think at the moment Brasco is sort of there's a lot of things I think he's trying to kind of wrap his head around. So I think he's sat down somewhere with like a little moleskin or notebook and is just kind of jotting down like he's trying to go through the process of like what are we looking for, you know, what are the qualifications of a person that would have been able to, with a 20-year difference, basically pull the same shit. So I think at the moment that's kind of primarily what he's doing. He's just kind of sitting, maybe in a public space, probably down where they had that conversation. I should probably put D&D.
All right. The information that you're writing down, what language is it in?
Is that me? Sorry, somebody's car alarm is going off.
Okay. You can just keep yourself muted when you're not speaking. What language is this in?
Sorry, my car alarm was just going off. I don't know why. Give me just 1 second.
Of course. Scoria and Beetle, what are you guys up to?
Beetle is also
putting information together. I think Corey would be familiar with this. Sometimes she would just go out into the swamps to be by herself, but there is no swamp here. Perchance, is there a fountain anywhere on the grounds?
There's a pool. I mean, the middle section on the lower floor is just like a giant swimming pool.
Oh yeah, Beetle will harass. Would you mind showing an old woman where the pool is? I'm going to catch a heat stroke.
Look to the
Gloria's
servant
gonna
who
grab her arm and like take her over to the edge and point down.
Yeah, Beetle is just going to plop at the edge of this pool, dip her feet in, and she's sort of scrambling with the nicer rope. She's not used to the how flowy it all is, but she reaches out and she produces. It's a scrap of paper. It looks filthy, but it's got notes on it. And just with the edge of her filthy little claw, she writes down just her own little bits, pertaining to the party. Things for who to speak to, things to watch out for, customs that she needs to be aware of, because as much as I despise all this, I need to be polite. Because I'm never going to get back to my swamp at this rate.
Gloria.
Gloria, after showing Beetle where the very obvious pool is, Scoria's gonna pull out her slightly more sheer regular nice fine outfit and do some makeup and get ready for cards tonight.
Okay. Brasco, would you like to finish what you were doing?
Yeah. I think he's writing in probably thieves' cant.
Okay.
It's probably that shorthanded sort of what he's used to writing in as a sort of his own particular notes.
Right.
But for the most part, he's just kind of sitting and he's probably sitting by the pool even. I think, just kind of trying to get, I guess, wrap his own head around. He's not a magical person at all. So he's just kind of, all right, so we'll look at this. We got to try and find out who amongst them. He's trying to be a detective about it, I think.
Okay. Beetle, what language were your notes in?
Oh, I actually had not considered that, but quickly I'm going to look at what languages I do know. They're going to be in Druidic, actually.
Okay. And the two of you, are you keeping these notes on your person or stowing them somewhere?
They are in Beetle's folds.
Fresco keeps them close to it. It's not something I had sort of like prepped ahead of time, but I imagine he probably has a little notebook that he keeps little scribbles in if he's, trying to remember something for a job. But he probably is keeping that tucked into his shirt or something. Probably on him.
Right. Easily enough. Partway through your various, goings on, it's getting pretty late. The servants do come and I would say Requiem, the bugbear, comes bringing dinner for everybody. Just sort of like dropping off a plate, just quick knock at the door, leaving the plate at the door, since it seems that you aren't gathering for a specific mealtime. You can tell these servants are used to catering to individuals as opposed to having things ready at a set place and time. So it's very much where if you ask them to do something, they will. But aside from that, they will see if you're there, feed you if you are, generally leave you alone. They seem fairly professional, but also a tendency to keep to themselves, that you can tell they're kind of on edge here. Around that time during dinner, I would say maybe Julianne. Julianne, you would get a knock on your door. And you hear Tibby's voice. Hi, I'm not sure if everybody is in different rooms, but you had asked for those that information on the other people here. I have some things for you.
Oh, wonderful. Thank you. Yeah.
Of course. I'll just get and she'll just kind of knock at the next two closest doors, I would say, which would be Roscoe and Scoria. and just sort of like as you guys come out of your room. So wait, actually, what's your passive insight again, Julianne?
It is 16.
Okay. She like raises her eyebrows a little bit at how like dressed and ready to go out Scoria is, but doesn't ask any questions. Instead, like giving her like a polite smile and just handing you guys separate sheafs of parchment. This is all the information I have that I've gathered over the last few days. I don't think it's complete, but I wanted to share it with you and check in and see what your plans were for keeping the king safe when he's here.
Yeah. Well, thank you for this. This will definitely help us to, you know, I guess, ask the right questions to the right people, and maybe help us not ask the wrong questions to people too. As far as keeping the king safe, I'm sure discretion
probably
is still key.
yeah. I'm probably going to shadow him relatively closely when he's around.
Of course.
I'm sort of better at those sort of keeping quiet and at the ready. So I'll probably be sort of an unseen guard. I can be.
I plan to look into these purple mist things that are shunting teleportations so that hopefully he doesn't end up with that as well.
Okay, I don't think he'll. Well, okay. Is that
Is
all?
there, well, I mean, is there anything you suggest?
I think we need to make a plan for his protection aside from one person just sort of generally following him around. There need to be shifts, there need to be someone volunteering to be a tester, there needs to be somebody who is going to, like inspect rooms before he enters them. Like I we need to make
I
sure that
imagine Beetlebug is walking by. She's walking back. She's wrapped up in a towel coming from the pool. Tester, you say? Well, my stomach is pretty hearty. I could assist with that. Are we talking food being poisoned?
yes.
I
I will
think
do
that
that quite
Brasco would.
easily.
I think Brasco would be best for checking rooms beforehand.
Right,
Sure.
sharp eyes on that one. Sharper than his tusks.
But absolutely shifts at night, standing guard out at his door, making sure that nobody's trying to sneak up on him. Absolutely. Uh, and when
I
he
can
needs
take
to
on
be
a
a
smaller
little
form as
less
well.
obvious with his guards, maybe that's when Brasco shadows him. Uh,
I
but
do
absolutely.
I do my job properly, which I usually do. No one will even get close to him.
Well, we can make sure that he's never left alone.
I can
Um,
transform myself into a variety of creatures. I could be literally in his pockets.
Okay. Well, that's good. But he's not going to have any of his power when he's here, so it's important because he's not going to be able to defend himself like he usually can. Um,
Why would he not have his power?
because he's not in Vertonen.
Ah,
is
lost
it
in the land.
proper for I mean, in, I guess, these types of negotiations, would it be a sign of ill will if he were to carry a small sword or something on his person? Not even for his use, but perhaps for one of us to use if we're with him and need something for, you know,
No,
offense.
I think it depends on how negotiations this week go. I think if you make a favorable impression and there aren't suspicions abound and people have a generally good opinion of you, then maybe it would be tolerated. But I think if poser stepped on, if people are on edge, it's going to be a lot more difficult for something like that to happen without arising suspicion or argument.
Sure. Okay.
You guys are being subtle?
That's my whole thing.
Okay, I'm sorry. I know you're professionals. I'm just checking.
I understand, Timmy. You're nervous. I get that. We've got time. we've got some time to figure some things out.
I'm
We've got
working
a
on
couple
some.
more lines of inquiry that we're following up on to not only get some information, but to also ingratiate ourselves to some of the politicians here. Brasco and I actually plan to go play cards with Lenore tonight and strengthen a friendship there.
Yeah, I'll be there as well to supervise, of course. And don't you worry your pretty little head about it, Tibby. We will be the utmost professional about it. Isn't that right, Scoria?
Yes, absolutely.
Make a persuasion check.
Me
I no
or
beetle.
Okay.
Oh boy. Where is that? There it is. I'm like, there's so many zeros in my social stuff. That's an 18.
Nice.
Tibby looks like marginally relieved. Okay. You said you discovered some things. You were following some tales. Well,
Sort of, yes. The poison garden. Uh, the greenhouse features quite a few of the same plants and strange mist that we saw in the demi-plane.
Might be worth talking to its caretaker to see where they received such plans. Maybe who may have directed them to be there.
I'll look into it. Thank you. Okay. I have an antidote I'm working on that I need to tend to, just in case there's any poison attempts. Hopefully
If
not.
if you need any help, I'd be happy to assist you.
I mean, if you want to cut herbs, you can.
Sure,
Yeah, sure. Come on back.
I'll follow her.
Okay. Do you see she has? Are you proficient with herbalist tools?
Absolutely not.
Okay. Are you proficient in nature?
Nope.
Would you like Beetle to come along because she's proficient in both?
I don't think you guys would have known that.
Yeah, no.
I mean, he leads you in. This would just be to see if you recognize the herbs or what she was doing, or if it's a completely foreign process to you.
Oh yeah, I don't know
Fine.
anything. Just trying to help.
Fair enough. So she hands you, like, slides over a stack of a bunch of different leaves. You're not really sure what, and a few mortars and pestles. And she's like, "Well, these need to be muddled, and then these need to be diced, and then these need to be like have the leaves pulled out, and then I need you to slice them into 2 centimeter lines. There's a measuring stick here.
Wonderful. Okay, bottled, diced, sliced. I've got it.
If they're not 2 centimeters, you can just throw them out."
I will use the measuring tools provided.
I'm just messing with you. They just need to be sliced up.
Oh, great. Okay. Okay. I will do my very best. It'll probably be slow going. Just trying to make sure that I'm not ruining what Tibby's working on. I did just genuinely want to help her, and I don't know, see if I can put her at ease about our group, even though I know that probably at this moment the majority of our group will be going to do whatever is going to happen at the card game.
Fair enough. As she just sort of stirs this pot of, like, now the sort of like purplish pink has turned to fuchsia. It just gets like steadily brighter as she adds like a few like dried berries to it. You have any experience with anything like this?
Um, Not especially. I don't. I'm not well versed in creating medicines, poultices, things like that. I'm. I usually come in after those things are no longer needed. Um,
The king, he needed a lot when he was younger. He's been better since he took the throne, but I'm worried he might relapse when he gets here, because the land won't be bolstering him. So I'm just trying to get everything ready. But I'm not really sure what to expect because it's been over 200 years since he's left, I think.
Hmm.
Um,
Do you mind? I'm sorry. This is very forward a question, but what's the deal with you two exactly?
there's no deal.
Oh, Tibby, come on.
Make a persuasion check.
Yeah.
Girl talk, let's go.
Roll for girl talk.
Let's do it. 22.
She There's a long pause while she stirs the liquid, and you can tell that Tibby is not the sort of person who is used to comfortable silence. She's clearly someone who needs like some sort of noise going on or something happening, and just the weight of your gaze staring at her as you just sort of wait. Used to being around things that don't talk. She eventually like just sort of like keeps glancing at you, and just eventually like, I mean, there's really nothing to tell. Um, I met him when I was in my teens, and um, he was pretty sickly. He was up by the Hydra, his family's home, and I, I don't know how much you know about the more noble estates in Vertogen, but there's a lot of isolated areas. Uh, Oftentimes, they'll be called upon to protect a given area, take a grove, as you will, and that area stays um, fairly uninhabited. They make an effort to keep it as wild or as uncut as possible. So it was unusual that we were even there, but we were traveling through. My parents were both herbalists. Um, they had a small business transporting rare herbs, and I was learning the trade. And I came upon him in the woods. He was coughing, and um, I gave him some of the tinctures I'd been working on. It seemed to help some. We helped him get back home, and my parents had been hoping I'd take an apprenticeship soon. Um, they weren't really the kid friendly type. And you would know that teens is like very, very young for a Frobolg. Like she was a child.
Yeah.
Um, and we got along. So his parents asked if I could stay on. And I did. I think they just wanted him to have a friend. He didn't really have anyone his age. And I mean, I've just known him so long. Her face goes a little bit pink. Um, but he brought me with him, when we moved to the capital, and it's been us for a long time.
Sounds nice. I can see why you'd want to continue to make sure that he's safe. And we'll do everything we can, obviously. But if there's anything you think of that we should know, I mean, we'll do our best. But I don't know, you know him better than anyone, so just let us
He's
know.
he's just good, you know, just one of those people. Doesn't think about themselves. Just a really good person.
He seems good. You're good too, you know.
I hope you know. And her gaze grows a little bit more serious as she stares at you. I would do anything to keep him safe.
I believe
Yes.
that.
You seem like a good person. I don't know you very well.
I think I don't know. I'll make sure that the rest of my group understands. I won't tell anything that you don't want me to, but I'll just
Please don't.
no, 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 I won't. I just I'll make sure they know beyond what we already do about how important this is.
You have anyone like that?
Not especially, not romantically.
I never said.
I, sorry, I was in my head about it,
Her face goes like bright red, and she just like
Right.
furiously starts stirring the pot.
I
that she's
have a
making.
person that's my person. My sister, she's wonderful.
Stirring slows down.
Oh geez, chill. Yeah, it's really lovely to have somebody that gets you. I'm glad you have that.
We're able to see your sister sometime soon.
Me too. It's been a while, and I was supposed to see my family right before all of this started, but there just wasn't time, and then everything changed, and actually, might need to talk to her about something soon, but that's for later. Um, I'll focus on this so that we get this right. If there's anything else you need me to do while we're here, just let me know.
That's fine. It's just someone needs to stir this for a while. Thank you for chopping things, though. It was nice.
Sure. 2 centimeters. I think I did it.
It's good practice, right?
It is. It really
Gives
is.
you a
It's
really precise hand if you're drawing or writing something.
yeah. I like it. All right. Well, good luck stirring.
Roscoe and Scoria, after Julianne leaves, you can look down at the sheaf of papers you were given, and if you two would like to open the packages you received.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Ooh.
Ooh, survivors of the
You probably wouldn't notice
voyage.
it until later, Julianne, but you can also open yours.
I have current royalty and those close to them.
I have survivors
With
of the
art.
suspects 1, vices and virtue.
Maria, you're so brilliant. Oh my god.
Ooh.
Oh my God. Okay, I have Survivors of the Voyage, Suspects 2, Histories. Holy shit.
Braska's gonna straight up flip through these notes and do exactly what I just did, which is land on Lenore Delvoyne. Go
Ew.
strong political ties to Asunas, said to perhaps be more loyal to them than ever. She's said to have seer blood, lots of connections, superstitious. Tries to stay abreast of info and gossip, and she's close with Faris and Landon. Good trade connections. Let's see where Faris and Landon are. And he's talking to himself at that point, kind of going through the.
There's really loud thunder over here. So if you see me looking off weird, it's because loud cracks happen.
Can't hear anything.
Oh gosh, this is so cool.
Something to keep note on tonight, Scoria. She likes gossip.
Good to know. Good to know.
What do you suppose it means if someone has seer blood?
Victoria?
I have it's the current royalty, so I've got plenty of information on His Majesty now. There's a little bit on the Queen of Fendere here. Oops, well, it doesn't try and close on me.
Some of these guys are hot, by the way. All right, Maria, of course, drew these guys, and like they're all just very handsome devils.
Ah, yes, the menu.
Don't mind if I do. Although Allian Kane looks like Leonard Nimoy,
Yes.
right? A little bit.
Yeah.
Love it. All right, yeah,
Oh,
I
I
mean,
know a little bit about the king's illness now too, and the potion you were helping make,
Ooh,
Julian.
you know more than I do about that.
Fair enough. I would say you guys can briefly convene before heading out for cards.
yeah,
If there's anything you would like to share.
Bresco will definitely stop with Scoria and Beetlebug and give them a little bit of a rundown on what he knows about Lenore, since that's who they're going to see. Got a couple of other people in here, but Lenore we're going to be meeting. Beetle, it says in here that she's got seer blood, lots of connections, very strong political ties to Asunis, good trade connections. Seems to be she's more loyal to Asunis probably than anywhere else.
Aw.
So, what that means to you, but
GM, what would that mean to me?
Well, you're from Asunis. That's where your swamp is. Did you have a specific question?
I was thinking history-wise. I probably should have phrased that better. 'Cause, like, I'm like, okay, that's where I'm from, but I was literally in a swamp the entire time.
Yeah, I mean, you can roll a history check for just like the general history of Asunis, if that's what you were interested in.
Eh,
she's a half elf in her mid-30s.
14.
For the record.
I mean, you know that Asunis is divided into two parts. So there's the central Asunis, northern and southern Asunis. Northern Asunis is mostly swamp or heavy forest, and it's generally regarded as impassable, but there are a lot of like products made there and plants that grow there that don't grow anywhere else. So a lot of their exports go there. A lot of their workforce is congregated there, but they never go too deep into the swamp. I'm assuming that's where you were. You were probably somewhere over here. In order to run into Scoria closer to the coast. Southern Asunis is like a almost Caribbean paradise. It has beautiful weather. The Players Cove keeps much of the harshest weather out. The Coin Islands are known, they're called the Coin Islands because they were blessed by Sutreya, the goddess of luck. And they generally, like very harsh weather, seldomly passes through them. So, sort of like the backwash of that perfect weather is what hits Southern Asunis. Although over here there are like pirate issues, it's a really nice place to live. With a 14, but that's like the more general info, but you don't know anything else like hyper specific about it.
Hmm. I would relay as much to Brasco, like just a general lowdown. If any of that could sound like a motive, but generally, I think she'd want to preserve the good trade relationship, especially considering the rarity of their exports.
Agreed. She
The
is very
sea blood concerns me, though.
Yes, she's also apparently very superstitious, and she tries to stay abreast of info and gossip. So we can appeal to that tonight and see if we can't maybe weasel some rumors or something out of her. That might be our best bet for what we're doing tonight, anyway.
Gloria
Lady
does make sure that
superstition.
her pendant that is her connection to, or her holy symbol for Sutreya is prominent before they go.
Good one. And she's pretty tight with Lannon. Sorry, it was okay. Sorry, I've been like, "Where's Lannon?" But you know, no. Maria has done a very elegant sort of method of doing the L, so I kept thinking they were Z's, and I was like, "I don't find Lannon in here." She's friendly with Lannon, and Lannon keeps a greenhouse. He loves plants.
Could be a good way to get into her good graces. Getting in with a friend, I could just tell him some, I don't know, a rare algae that I've come across in my time and make him cream in his pants. But
He's a
we'll see.
partier who takes a carousel of lovers, apparently.
Does he now?
right up your alley there, Beetlebug.
Hardly. I could see using that to our advantage. Especially if it's someone whose pants he's not supposed to be in.
I mean, we can also try and
Before
with Lenore, uh, maybe
Woman.
ferret out why she backed Queen Vanya, as her rule was disputed, and she did something to convince various politicians to back her. One of which is Lenore.
Treacherous little thing, isn't she? Well, I suppose we could attempt to use your infatuation with Lenore to our advantage.
before you would all go, as you're sort of convening and talking about all of this, um, Julian would finish doing what she's doing with Tibby, and then go through her notes that she was given. Um, Before you all go, I think I have additional notes on Lenore as well. Um, so this is mostly, I guess, about where she's stationed most of the time. So she oversees the region from the Bergamot to Lariite and the west side of the Lariite Cove. Um, it's a pretty big swath of land. Um, her town's been known to be plagued with pirates who know that many were conscripted for the war, and she wants reparations for those affected by the war more than anyone is willing to give. So that might be something, if not for the game tonight, that we might be able to discuss. I'm sure it'll come up in negotiations, but that's what I have on her.
DM, knowing my background, my stomping ground, considering I would have been in and around that sort of more pirated area. Is there anything historically or maybe socially I might be able to kind of think about?
Were you in that area? I thought you were from northeastern Vertohen.
I thought we just oh, I'm sorry, I looked all the way down because that's such a big chunk of cove. I apologize.
This is where Lenore presides over, and then you were around here.
Okay, I'm sorry. I was like, yeah, I'm all over there probably in my brain. Never mind.
No worries.
Yeah, okay. So we got to sympathize with the desire for reparations. See if we can't get some gossip out of her, maybe about the others. There's also some, this in here, she's apparently pretty close friends with someone named Faris Borsier. She's got quite the little list on here. She became a politician at 16. She's ruthless, a little unhinged, and violent. She was 9 when the boat sank 20 years ago.
Yep, she had accompanied her parents.
Yeah, so she's an interesting note here. I don't know if she would have been the one who did it 20 years ago, considering how young she was, but interesting. She's from a very close-knit family, very secretive. But I think trying to grill Lenore tonight, or as gently as possible. And he's looking at Beetlebug when he says that.
I think if you're able to appeal to, well, her interest in all of us, as well as her interest in cards, and maybe since we know that she's a bit superstitious and likes to gossip, I mean, this could be a very low key conversational kind of thing where you might end up getting better information than we could have hoped for.
I agree. Those are the best ones to try and wheedle information out of. And the worst case scenario, we realize she's not the person we got to be worried about.
Or she may have information on who is, even if she doesn't realize it.
Exactly.
I don't like
Roscoe,
any
are
of
you
this.
going with on this adventure?
Apparently so. Maybe it's for the best.
I apparently need chaperones.
I'm just concerned about any of us doing anything alone here. So
Yes.
as long as yeah,
We want
that's
to avoid
wonderful.
diplomatic incidents, knives in the dark, and scoria. I want to make sure you don't make a mistake you'll regret for the next 300 years.
I won't
Oh,
live
oh.
that long, so
How old are you?
I'm 84.
300. Right. I would generally be fine allowing Scoria to go by herself. But considering there's other people who want to go, and the fact that I'm decent at cards, maybe getting a group together for this is probably our best bet. No use jumping into things head first. Without a little bit more of additional context.
Sounds good to me.
Hone is, Hone is just sitting there silently, and he just takes out a note and he's like, "Can you give this to her? One of you."
Sorry,
It's
I'll
just
take it.
It's just a folded up note. And thanks.
Certainly.
All right, well,
She tucks it into her boot with her cards.
I will say before we like head out for the night, Brasco's gonna go into his room and make a quick check to make sure that there's nobody maybe peeking through a window or in any way watching him, even though he's closed the door to his room.
Okay. You're in the servants' quarters, right? You took a servants'
No,
break?
I'm in that upper corner room.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right. Make an investigation check.
Dice. Ooh, dirty 21.
You look around for signs that someone might be watching you. Moving out onto the balcony, you notice that there are a number of servants just around the grounds, although none seem to be inside. And none of them are meeting your eye when you look out. That doesn't necessarily mean that they haven't been keeping an eye. There seem to be more gardeners than necessarily need to be there at once. As you investigate the area, just looking for like hidey holes, you do notice that there is a clicking sound when you push the wall behind this dresser over here. And investigating it, you find that there is a hidden latch in one of the floorboards. And pulling it through, there's a spot where any insulation has been pulled out, and there is a small empty box, like a hidey hole for any information.
And the box is empty.
The box is empty.
Okay. And the clicking
The
came
box
from.
is the box is installed into the wall. So it's like if you wanted to hide something, it's not like you're just dropping it on top of insulation or like wool batting or something. It's
Okay,
like someone created a spot specifically to hide something in the wall.
Okay. And the clicking sound I can probably surmise came from me pressing and hearing that empty space, right?
Right. There's like a small
Like it wasn't like something was
pulls back that you would have had to like stick a wire in to unlatch, and it was just like the slight give between the latch and the wooden board, and it takes a minute to put it back. Like it's definitely not like a quick release, clearly built. This was clearly something MacGyvered by a previous politician that has essentially been there for some time.
Okay. All right. In that case, I'm gonna kind of look at it for a minute and go. I'm gonna take my little notebook, and I'm gonna. I have two hiding places, this and one other thing. So I'm trying to decide which one is probably the smarter thing to do. But instead, I'm going to open up my wooden case that has my viol in it, my violin. And I'm going to palm my little notepad underneath the violin, hide it there, and then latch the case and just put it on my bed in.
Okay.
Can I do a sleight of hand check to palm it into my violin case as covertly as possible?
I mean, is someone with you right now?
No, he's just being obsessive.
Okay, sure.
He's not necessarily. He's just he's just
practicing.
like, yeah, he's just doing it in a way of like I need to make sure that even if I'm not, the line underneath is a 9, right? Every question, every time. 15 total.
Okay. Practice it.
Yeah, I just palm it into my violin case and keep it there, and then that'll be what I head out with the others. After
Okay. I'm assuming you're leaving the violin at home.
Oh yeah, I'm leaving the violin case sitting on like my trunk or my bed, and I just wanted to hide my notes, and
You feel that they're fairly hidden.
and yeah, then he'll rejoin the others and be like, sorry, I had to put something away.
Scoria has tucked her notes also into her boot. That's where she keeps everything that's important.
Hone will approach Frasco and ask, do you wish, if you like, I could keep guard of our rooms while you were gone, while you were all gone, or?
It's a decent idea to keep an eye out, even if we feel secure in the fact that we haven't left anything too important behind. But
was there anything in particular that you have in mind for me to look out for, or?
I don't think any of the servants need to be going in our rooms. Personally, mine's fairly clean. I've only been here for about a day, roughly speaking. And we're going out for the night, so just make sure nobody's doing anything they don't need to be doing.
Nothing suspicious.
Don't get into trouble out there.
Listen.
I mean, get into plenty of trouble, have a blast. It's going to be amazing. But just be careful.
Be circumspect. Scoria is going to go into her room and dig into the bottom of one of her bags. Since she's proficient with woodcarver's tools, I feel like she whittles in her spare time. And so she's going to pull out like a dove that she's whittled and take that as a gift for Lenore.
Okay. Make a check with your woodcarver's tools. That would be proficiency bonus, and then you can just pick one and then move forward with it from now on, but you could either add your dexterity or your intelligence.
Okay. 17.
Okay. It's a pretty passable dove. Yeah. Like very simple, kind of like the soap logo.
It looks like a dove.
Clearly a dove. Like had some time to
like not
it.
Detailed, just a dove.
Mm-hmm.
That is a bird.
Fair enough.
You
make your way.
Pigeons are treacherous things. They never keep to one nest.
I am bringing it as a gesture of goodwill and to hopefully ingratiate ourselves to her more. I may flirt, but just know that I won't go too far because this is a diplomatic mission.
I suppose.
You guys make your way down the hall and to Lenore's rooms. Giving a sharp knock, you hear a scuffling inside and muttered voices. And there's like a quick back and forth exchange before the door opens. And you see not Lenore, but a tiefling woman with very sharp features. She does not look happy. Um, she kind of looking you up and down. You came after all, then? Lenore hurries to the door behind her, like taking her by the shoulder, and says, I'm sorry. It was decided for me that I needed an escort for tonight. And she kind of like looks Beetle up and down. It seems your friends perhaps felt the same way.
Apparently, going unchaperoned is unseemly. But we will handle.
We wish to be proper, after all. Isn't that right, Scoria?
Exactly. And Scoria will hold out the carved dove and be like, a gift for you. I carved this with my own hands, and so I figured you would like it.
That is presumptuous of you, do you not think? She
A
takes it
gift, regardless.
takes it delicately. I must give you something now. What do you
But
like?
that's not necessary. It's a gesture of goodwill on our part for disturbing you earlier.
You don't disturb me. I'll have to think on it. I will let you know when I found something. You come in.
I I hate to interrupt you guys. My camera, like all of you, keep disappearing from the
You keep
video
on
ninja.
disappearing from us. So
Like-
Yeah.
Should I maybe refresh the
Well, let's
page, maybe?
continue
Or
on for a little bit, and then when we take our break, maybe we can do that.
It's probably a connection part for you, but
just wanted to, if I'm in and out for a second, I apologize.
you're all good.
Now
The-
Kristen dropped. Jeez.
Right. She leads you into the room. You find yourself in like a fairly comfortable looking place. There's like soft evening light streaming through the windows, just like the last of the summer sun. Muted colors and blues and golds, a little bit of mauve. She gestures you to a seat. This is Therese Vorsier. He is one of the politicians who I would imagine you will have dealings with.
Scoria will
that-
reach out her hand to Therese and be like, "Oh, it's a pleasure to meet you."
Grace looks you up and down and like moves her hand out in a kind of jerky motion, like shakes it once very firmly before dropping it.
Beetle will raise a wrinkly eyebrow at that.
Right. She shoots a look at you too, Beetle, like is like in a confrontational way, as if like, oh, do you want a handshake too? Like,
No, Beetle just nod, but ooh, she's fiery.
right. Lenore gestures to the couch. Please do sit down. I've taken the liberty of having a meal brought, and there's like a plate of like fancy cheese and fruits and general charcuterie, as well as like a couple different bottles of wine and glasses for you to pour yourself. It seems very casual. And of course, I am not sure if you had still wanted, but I do have tea for a reading. And Therese interrupts her and just says, maybe later. You not need to. Just stay in the parlor. Very well. I would imagine. Yeah. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to interrupt you, Brasco.
No, just are we interrupting something? Should we not be here? Your friend seems very upset.
That's just her face. Therese like gives her a look, but it's clear that they know each other well enough that she can say something like that, and it's not like this great insult.
I've heard that more years than I care to remember.
I'm an orc.
To
It's
be
all I
fair,
hear.
you do not know us, Therese, and we have just met you, and it is understandable that you might be mistrustful, and we welcome your company.
Of course, it is nice to meet you. I would imagine You probably have come to have your fortune read?
Oh
Probe
no, we just
question?
came to play cards with Lenore and in general make friends with some of the politicians that we will be interacting with and to get on a better standing and so that we all understand one another.
We came here for peace, and we intend to do that. And so
Understand one another? What is the understanding you wish us to come to?
that we're all here to.
Who is not speaking to you?
All right.
An understanding of who we are as people and that we intend no harm. All we were here for is peace and to put forward the first step towards that peace before the king makes his journey.
Very well. We may eat. Lenore just sort of ingratiates herself, sits next to you on the couch, Scoria. How did you find the rest of your stay? Are the accommodations to your liking?
Oh, the accommodations are wonderful. It's very nice to be so welcomed
It
in.
reminds me of home.
Where are you from?
I come from just along the coast. That's where I met Scoria, actually.
Which coast?
Quite sweet. It's sweet. I'm terrified of mispronouncing this, so I'm going to look at the map really quick. Remind me how it's pronounced, GM, because I'm
As soon as?
Asunas, because I was about to say Asunas, and I'm
As soon as. No.
And you can pronounce it however you want. It is as soon as is the correct pronunciation. But you are from the Sweetwood Marsh.
I hail from Asunas. The Sweetwood Marsh, have you heard any of that? Perhaps a family member of yours mentioned the Sweetwood Marsh?
Yes, as a matter of fact, my family estate is not far from there. It is mid-distance between there and the coast.
Perhaps we met while you were still young.
I think I would have remembered you, but it's always possible. Would you have come with a diplomatic delegation?
Oh, no. I was. They were more personal visits.
I don't believe my family has any close friends or relatives with your description, but I could be wrong. In my family, did you know?
Does the name Francois ring a bell?
Oh, yes, that's my father.
Oh. Well, he and I shared a. It's. Beetlebug is clear that she's malfunctioning, but also she's trying to keep her face straight.
Bresco chimes in and goes, I believe you mentioned earlier that you thought you might have known someone Lenore was related to. You said they had a very similar face. I believe they may have been friends at some point. That's what I understand. He's gonna eat some salami and then watch this unfold because he tried.
We had a shared interest in alchemy. Yes, I would talk about the native fauna of Sweetwood Marsh and that sort of thing. Unfortunately, we fell out of contact. You wouldn't happen to know what he's currently doing, would you?
I believe he and my mother journeyed to the state in the Senate a few months ago. I'm running things. I'm not sure if you've heard, she is affected by the gray sleep.
Oh, pity that. Truly, my dear, you have my condolences. And Beetlebug will reach over a wrinkly hand at the table to pat hers.
Nora's gonna insight check you if you would like to make a deception.
I will make a deception check.
With the 24, are you genuinely sorry, or she's trying to figure out how that is meant to come across?
It's more shock, honestly. She is sorry, but it is there's that guy's I didn't realize he was married as well, but she's just trying to cover it with, oh, I'm sorry. It's a sad thing, but holy shit, I was fucking a married man.
I'm not sure if you're aware, but in Fairwind, there's a place she intends to be displayed. So she is saying her goodbyes to the rest of the family before she falls to sleep.
Ah, I see. Truly, if I could provide natural remedies to lengthen her time on this plane, if that would be of assistance to you and your family.
Are you joking?
No.
Do you have the ability to do that?
Well, Scoria here came to me with an ailment from me about so long ago. I could at the very least try my hand at it. I've been very isolated for most of my life, you see. Black sheep of the family, if you would.
And you know something that could cure the gray sleep?
Not cure, but I could try my hands at it.
I mean, people have been searching for a cure for hundreds of years. If you think you can do something like that, I mean, I'm not entirely sure how to take this. She looks at Scoria. Is this something? Is this for real?
She does have a dab hand at uh the alchemical art. I have my illness was much less and it more brought on by travails in my life. Uh so I'm not sure I'd be able to speak truly to it uh to give you that answer.
Self have not known very long. Uh, but she certainly has a way about her that if she pulled a remedy of this sort out of her pocket, I would not entirely be surprised.
I'm not sure if I believe you or not, but of course, if you think you have a remedy, it would be amazing. Therese is glaring at you from across the table. She's seated directly opposite you, and her eyes are like narrowed, like, don't fuck with her.
Beetle gives a genuine gap-toothed smile. Truly, I'm not familiar with the illness, but I will look into it. You have my word, my lady, and I could perhaps visit and perform some, hopefully, miracles for you and your lot.
I mean, I'm sure my family would be happy to host you if you really think that is something you could do.
Really, it'll be wonderful visiting an old friend and providing aid where I can.
Uh, I will write to my parents and let them know you've offered your services.
Oh, and do let them know it was Beetlebug who suggested this.
It's your real name?
Yes, born. Waits back, so we have a trait of picking names of things that capture our interest, and mine has always been insects, small things that have unexpected powers. Beetlebug is that.
I see. Very well then. I mean, thank you. Uh, yeah, I will let, and you can see she seems very flustered. She clearly was not expecting this at all.
I just knew I'm gonna get back at this fucker. I'm rubbing with. Beetle doesn't care if this woman survives or not. I'm just here to rub his fucking nose in it.
Oh,
Grease, just giving you a sharp look. Um, so a wondrous healer that somehow has the power to cure the gray sleep, and yet we find you as a politician negotiating peace terms.
I only accepted this position so that I could perhaps return to my studies. But I also have found it to be a very socializing process, you see. Quite long ago, I was pushed out of my family in my hometown, and I've been living in isolation ever since. I've been garnering my knowledge of herbs, tinctures, tonics, all sorts of things, and I see now as a chance to perhaps return what I've learned to the people.
The first real attempt for peace in what, 20 years, and they choose a hermit to represent them. not a politician, not someone with experience, not someone who genuinely wants to barter for peace and has the skills to do it?
Well, she is very dear to me, and I am the one that has a little bit more of the political acumen of this situation here. And
Really,
as
because
she's so close to me,
I could not find any information on your family, on any of your families. Her eyes linger a little bit longer on Julianne as she speaks.
Julianne's not here.
Oh, you're right. I'm so sorry. You know,
Beth at the bottom, like,
on any of your families.
Let's
You
back
have a
down
very
to
distinctive look, as Lenore was kind enough to describe to me. I think it would be very easy to find information on someone like you. Dynasties are not normally from Vertogen, are they not?
oh, they certainly are not. I actually come by way of the Galaros Islands, uh, originally from the Coin Islands. And when I arrived in Vertogen, they asked if I would be so kind as to step into the shoes of the politician, since I have such a way with politics from my
Really?
younger days.
When you arrived, they asked you to step in and become their representative of their country.
Shit inside my head.
Beetle is
Fresca-
gonna pipe up. Just well, you do understand that she is rather skilled, and of course, coming from such distant lands. And for myself, she
Skilled in what?
vouched for me.
Skilled in what? What skills were they so eager to obtain that they were willing to put the complete stranger as the country's representative?
Her tongue is made of the finest silver.
If
Doesn't
I'm
seem like
allowed
she's using
to-
it very effectively.
I don't know if I'm allowed to speak during the last time but I will say that quite some years ago, last time a mission for peace was attempted, it did not end well. They were not eager to send. They wanted to send people who had a slightly more varied background. There's a reason we're here still alive.
We were chosen for our abilities to protect ourselves as much as for our political acumen.
Because it does not seem you have any political background to boast of.
Above the table, is this something that Tibby would have talked with us about, since we don't have that background that would be able to be handed over to them to be seen?
I mean, they fabricated backgrounds for you. It seems like you've just been tricked.
Uh-oh. Well, I didn't quite catch your name there, but allow an older woman to give you a lesson. Sometimes neutrality can be found in the strangest places, and considering what we have all been through, especially in our journeys here, you would not want a politician with a vested interest in either country. Truly, my greatest desire is to return to my swamp and work on my tinctures, and perhaps be a wise woman to the people, at most. I do not need a keep or castles or women or any amount of coin.
Very true. I have no interest in politics. I will admit that freely. But I do know that it's for the benefit of everyone that we stop killing each other.
Yes. Makes life horrible for everyone. Keeps me from like yours. And as she says this, she eyes the tiefling with like the most, just the nastiest little look. Maybe like a bug crawls across her face as she's giving her this death stare.
The important part is we are here in the name of peace, to foster the peace, because it is a peace that is wanted by not just Verdoen and Fendere. It is a peace that will benefit all of Amalia.
Really. You may want peace, but I can tell you right now, if you act as you have been, you will not make it out of here alive. You freely admitted that you were a hermit in some other country, that you were given a political position upon newly arriving, that you are
I'm
not
sorry, was that a
interested in
threat?
politics. I'm just saying that if this sort of information is to leak out, it's quickly going to become volatile for your political situation. Now, I want peace too. Lenore does as well. And Lenore is like, not like clearly like, I don't want any part of this, like kind of expression, like sitting back, watching her friend. Lenore wants peace as well. However, I do know that the main thing that politicians do is negotiate. And I happen to know that we have some information that you would most likely not like to be made public, especially before you even met the other politicians. Now, if you would like this information kept secret, we would like some information of our own, because when you arrived, you spoke something about seeing other politicians and about having arrived from a demi-plane. And yet that information seems to have been swept under the rug. And we would like to know what the truth is and exactly what happened. And you can either tell me, or you can wait for Lenore to try and worm it out of you in some roundabout way that she has. But we are not leaving until we know what's going on, unless you want your secret spilled to everybody else.
We were told not to tell anyone about that because it would create a volatile situation.
You're doing a great job of keeping secrets.
You're doing a fantastic job of creating a volatile situation. What kind of politician are you?
The kind that gets answers.
You seem like a
You think I've
bitch.
gotten this far without having information held over someone's head? You can call me names all you like, but that's not going to change your situation.
It doesn't matter.
What you are willing to offer.
Please, let us calm down and approach this from a respectful standpoint, as we are all looking.
He hasn't been respectful 1 minute of this interaction. We got thrown into a demiplane where we almost died, and then we were told to keep quiet about it because that would keep things at peace. The goddamn teleportation circle that your people gave us.
Well,
Yeah.
clearly it did not take you to immediately to Fendere. How did you find your way here? This teleportation circle, the fact that you were even able to teleport here after whatever sabotaged you, has been a closely guarded secret for over 200 years.
And if we hadn't, we'd be dead.
Where did you find that information?
It was hidden throughout the demiplane, pieced together meticulously over several days by other members of our party, because we didn't know what we were doing and we were
Who
going
put
to
that
die.
information there? You said you found the other party members? Who knew this location? Who had that information?
I've told you enough.
A long pause. We're going to go ahead and take a break there. We'll pick up in 5 or 10 minutes.
That was intense.
Welcome back to Misguided Magic. We're just going to jump right back in. There's just like a long baited pause as everybody sort of like stares each other down, collects their breath. Brosco and Paris at each other's throats, just sort of like staring at each other from across this like low coffee table. Lenore like reaches out a tentative hand and picks up her glass of wine, like pouring some. I think it's been a very tough few years for all of us. And there are high tensions. I think we must realize that in any situation, these would be tense times. However, perhaps more tense than normal, especially given how many secrets there seem to be.
Secrets are a trade of politicians, I've noticed, but also of the common man. And if you don't have your secrets, a lot of times things go badly for you. So I can understand why all of us have something we're holding back.
And again, I ask, if you'd like to keep yours, what information do you have to offer?
What specific information, just to refresh, what specific information would you like to know?
Right. So she basically uncovered that you guys were not really politicians and is saying this could go badly for you if everybody knows this. But if you want to keep it between the two of them, and you guys can ask for other things in return as well. Like she wants to open up negotiations and like basically, we have info on you and we want to know exactly what happened because you called out some things that had happened when you first arrived, and then that was swept under the rug. They want to know the full story.
Yeah.
I mean, what's the harm in telling them the full story? Because if they're truly here for peace, then
Scoria would like to make an insight check on Faris in particular on how genuine they are about keeping our secret if we tell the truth.
Okay.
Dirty 20.
Um, there's this intensity to Faris that seems as if she's sort of like in the heat of battle, like waiting for something to be settled. Um, you would assume that when something is settled, she would consider that matter transactional. If she seems like indeed like a transactional person, you don't know how much is going to leak out sort of under the rug, so to speak, or what spy networks or whisper networks she's a part of. However, publicly, you do know that being reputable for negotiations between you who are temporarily very powerful figures is probably not a bad look for her. She clearly wants to establish some sort of information trading relationship, which isn't really feasible if she immediately backstabs you.
Gloria kind of considers her for a minute and says, well, then, if we're laying our cards on the table, I can talk, proverbially, is that the right word? Anyways,
I think it's
It's a
proverbially.
very strong line,
Thank you.
Scoria.
uh, if we're not going to play actual cards, we will play political cards. When we utilized the teleportation scroll that was given us to travel here, a purple mist interfered with the spell, and we were shunted to this demiplane that has more than a little in common with the grotto. And we found the previous political party from 20 years prior, all dead, all far more decayed than 20 years could explain. We risked life and limb to uncover the missing pieces, the pages of what
That's
DeJorn
Jordan's
had
diary.
been putting together for a teleportation circle to get out. We're not entirely sure how he managed it. We were lucky enough to find his journal that told us about this, and that three of the other party members, seeing as one had been almost immediately pulled underground, each had a piece and had gone in different directions to scout or to learn more. That part, at least I'm a little fuzzy on. But we went out and we found each of the bodies, and through luck and through ingenious ideas from various members of our party, we did acquire those pieces. And then one of our party members did have just enough knowledge to put the pieces where they needed to be. And that is how we ended up right outside this door, basically. We're unsure why it brought us to here and not where we were supposed to go. But even if we had ended up where we were supposed to go, the state where we were in would not be explicable by just teleporting.
It was our initial hope. Tell the full truth the moment we arrived. We were advised not to do so because of the precarious situation that political alliances are in and the volatile nature of where we are. It was advised that we quiet and focus on the peace mission rather than what had happened to us.
It was an advisement to not detract from the peace mission by bringing this into it.
If you know who fucked with us, I would like to know.
I do not. I would
But
imagine
the
if I
purple
did.
mist is a
It's in the greenhouse, isn't it?
tangled weave. It's not the same mist that threw us off course. The mist in the greenhouse was the mist that we walked through in the demi-plane. And that is what led me to the conclusion that the grotto is extricably entwined with this demi-plane.
Which inevitably is to you, Lenore. Okay, not you, not in that direction. We asked about who was interested in plants and things of that nature, and your name came up. And so it's originally why we came to you. We're hoping to maybe find clues.
Lenore like shoots a glance at Paris. I am interested in botany and not the grotto, although that is interesting information. Perhaps we should be looking into the grotto. Paris says, yes, it merits notice, definitely. Perhaps you can.
We do think that with maybe your guidance, since we're still feeling our way around this, and you have opened this dialogue with us, Aliane, who is the one with the representative of the grotto, may have more information, but we weren't as inclined to approach him as somebody that maybe isn't a representative of the place that we're afraid is involved. Or at least I am afraid is involved.
Do you think the lands I represent are involved? Of races?
We don't know.
We would like to hope that they're not, but we do know that Aliane Kane is the representative of the grotto, and that the town where he used to live is where the grotto now is. And he's a strong proponent of learning about the grotto, but that doesn't necessarily preclude that he couldn't be involved.
I would be surprised if Alien was behind this. Alien is against the spreading of the grotto. He wants it repaired or research done into its repair.
Appearances can be deceiving, but it should be considered in our investigations going forward.
And to put it flatly on the table, since that's what we're doing, we did come here explicably with the goal peace. We were told peace at all costs within reason. We don't, that's what we're here for. That is what our goal is. And the other half of that was to protect the king from exactly what happened to us. That is why we're not exactly politicians.
You can tell.
They're tasked with the protection of the king and to get to peace as best we are able. And obviously we are not as practiced as they could have hoped.
These others that came before you, Tibaratha, Fig, Ebedi, Vishnish, they are true politicians or no?
20 years ago, yes. They were. Sorry.
They are true politicians, yes.
Oh, I'm sorry.
They're talking about Tibby and the two people she brought with her.
Yeah.
I forgot their names. I was like, I don't know what happened.
Actual representatives of the king, yes.
Yes.
They are the ones tasked with actually hammering out and negotiating the treaty.
They cannot do both. Why are they not interviewing us? Why are they not the ones speaking with us if they have the training and not you? I mean, not that I'm complaining. It's definitely been a more interesting night than I would have anticipated.
We're we're a little better equipped to uh, protect ourselves if things were to go wrong, whereas their main goal is just the treaty, and we're tasked with discovering, if possible, who is responsible for the past assassination attempts and why the politicians 20 years ago were hunted to that same demiplane.
We were,
Priestly.
we were hired by Tibby specifically.
Priest leans forward. You said you are speaking with us because you think somebody might try to kill you for asking the wrong information? Did you suspect us of potential murder?
Of course, I mean, the horned one threatened to expose all of us. That'd be
Yes.
political murder. And from
That's
the
something
gauge.
that a real politician would not have been in danger of.
Mm.
We were sent to investigate because we can protect ourselves if it comes to the point of a fight. But when we first approached Lenore, it was specifically for information because of her interest in botany. It would have taken us to other politicians as we went. But since you invited yourself along tonight and brought us to this point where we can speak openly and honestly, I cannot regret the route that we did take.
Make persuasion check.
$15.
Okay. She gives you a slight nod. Very well. You are learning at least. Would advise you not to bring along friends who will call your dinner partners a bitch while they are speaking truth.
Noted.
Although I will say, Lenore, my offer stands. It comes from a place of genuine interest in your family.
I'm not sure what to make of you, I must admit. I will consider it. Thank you.
Certainly. I suppose thank you for this lesson. And Beetlebug is again going to look her right in the eyes as she says this.
Look Lenore right in the eye.
Oh, not Lenore.
Breeze.
Hermes.
Hermes.
Marie?
Sorry.
Well, this has been an evening. Perhaps we had spoken of cards. Perhaps we can play. Bree says, yes, perhaps. You said you had wanted information as well?
Yes, anything that you could tell us about your fellow politicians and anyone that may stand out, even if they aren't a politician, that speaks of peace but doesn't seem to actually want it.
I'll play you a game. Each
Very
hand
well.
each hand we win. You answer a question honestly for us. Each hand you win, we'll answer a honestly question for you.
Sounds good to me. And Scoria will pull one of the decks out of her boot and do some fancy shuffling and deal out cards.
Lenora is going to take the cards and just carefully inspect them. These are beautiful.
They were handcrafted for me in the Galaros Islands, where I learned to play cards.
15. Is there anything marked about these cards? Are they a rigged deck?
Nope. They're just straight cards.
Or this like smile and sets the deck down, clearing a space. She pours a wine glass for you. Gestures first. You. Shall the two of us play?
Let's.
All right. So I'd like you to make an intelligence check with your proficiency bonus.
Okay. Because I have a -1 in my intelligence.
The first one, I rolled a 19, so 22.
Oh no, I can't get that. Oh, I got a dirty 20 because I rolled a natural 19 as well. So at least it wasn't bad loss.
So the two of them begin playing cards. What game do you play, Scoria? Describe it.
I imagine it's a version of kind of like Texas Hold'em, where you have your hand and then there is some cards out in the middle, and it's a mix of luck of the cards with the skill of building your hand.
Very well. If you sit down to play, first round, you can tell that both players are skilled. Each of them looking up and down from their cards, seeming to like think in their head, like taking a good deal of time to assess what they have before placing their cards down. Scoria, you believe your hand to be a good one. But when you place it down, Lenore has beaten you. And she gives like a slight smile, opens her mouth, but before she can ask the question, Faris butts in. Is your king genuinely interested in peace? What are his terms for the treaty he hopes to achieve?
The king is 100% behind peace. That is his only goal. And we spoke truly when we said that he personally told us to strive for peace at any cost within reason.
Did he say what the reason was?
I think the general gist of it was like, anything too stupid or promise anything that we straight up can't do, like logistically speaking. And also, I think no marriage treaties. That was in it. Some no marriages. I don't know.
Anything that wouldn't put Vertogen at a disadvantage to the point that they could be hurt by outside forces thanks to the treaty. Is the way I understood it.
Very well. She seems to be taking in that information. You can see Faris has gone quiet. Her expression is a lot more closed off. Roll again. We'll be doing best out of 3, or just 3 total.
Go with this one.
12.
17! I win.
This time, a little more confident, starting to get the hang of things. Lenore is like giving you a lot of direct eye contact, and it's a little off-putting, but you like buckle down and ignore it, place your cards down. You win the next round.
If you had to point a finger at somebody with enough pull or enough power, magical or otherwise, to be standing in the way of this peace, who would you point to?
Again, Faris answers for Lenore. Boris Kipt.
Me and Beth immediately. Where's the fucker?
Thank you kindly.
You did not hear that from us.
Oh, absolutely not.
Misunderstood.
All we did tonight was play a friendly round of cards and get to know each other better on a personal level.
Of course. Lenore, cut the deck. Lenore does. Right, that's another 12.
9.
Right. Again, Faris kind of looks at you. What are you willing to negotiate? What are your lines?
Nothing that would endanger the king. Absolutely, that is the hardest line. And Kristen's brain has to work. Brasco or Beetle, if you have anything to jump in with here, please do.
Yeah. I
Hard
think
lines.
Beetle. Oh, go ahead, Brasco.
I know. I just was like, oh, hard lines. I'm just thinking about you. So if you've got something, go for it.
Like, if you guys are negotiating on behalf of the country, what do you guys not want to promise?
We will not promise the future of our country. That has already been done too many times.
What do you mean, the future of your country?
The liberty of its people, the holdings.
We're
Land.
willing to
You will not
negotiate.
sacrifice land? Is that what you mean?
That and lives.
I mean, as far as the land goes, that would more be up to those that know better, because as far as I know, that wasn't off the table. But the lives of the people, absolutely. And nothing that would put at risk to outside forces, that would weaken Vatohin to the point that that the country could not protect itself.
Yeah, we did talk about this a couple episodes ago when we were talking Tibby, and I can't remember what it was we specified about, like, within reason was. Do you remember at all what it was? It was like, we can't promise anything that we would have that, like, I just can't remember what it was we said the hard line was. You know what I mean?
Right. I mean, Tibby didn't want any marriage agreements, and then she didn't want anything that would, like, sacrifice the country. Like, if they wanted to like absorb the country essentially as a way to make peace, like, that was a hard line.
Okay. So Brasco will point Papa. I believe the ones I recall were no marriage and nothing that would absorb trade into one whole. We want to keep our identity and our sovereignty without causing any more pain.
Very well. This game. Julianne and Hone, what are you guys doing this evening?
Well, I think Hone was going to keep watch of the rooms and stuff. So maybe in an effort to keep an eye out on everything, we could play some cards, drink some tea, have a nice night in, relaxing.
Hone actually does not know how to play any sort of social card game because he's kind of a loser. But I would assume that Julian is so kind enough to teach him how to play some games.
Absolutely.
But he's also trying to keep an eye out for any, like, anything that's weird, I guess, out of the ordinary.
Julian has no trouble sitting in companionable silence, so they can just chill too after maybe an attempt or two to learn a new card game. She'll walk you through it. Probably something like Rummy. She pulls back a little bit of the competitive nature that comes through. She did learn most of her card playing abilities from very rambunctious soldiers. So there's typically a lot of shit talking. But for Hone, she can, rein that in a bit and just attempt to teach him a bit.
You guys pass a nice evening together. Go ahead and make perception checks for me.
Okay. is an 8.
Huh?
24.
Um, Julianne, in the room you guys are playing cards in, you're facing away from the window, so you don't see anything of note. You do hear the floorboards creak every once in a while, but there are other people who are living here right now. Um, Out the window, Hone, you do notice that the gardeners who have been here all day are still working pretty late into the night. They're in view of your window, which you realize as it begins to get late is now fairly easy to look into. You almost miss the gardeners because it's pretty dark outside and it's a lot easier for them to see you.
See. Um, kind of relay my observation to Julian, and I suggest perhaps moving into a different room or maybe investigating the gardeners, because why would they be working so late at night? Like,
Julian would not turn and look or anything, just sort of
mhm.
try to be cool, and I mean, I know that we've kind of been trying to keep an eye on everything in here, but should we go out for an evening stroll and see if we can speak with them directly? Or would that be leaving things empty here?
Hmm, that is a good. Let's, if we wanted to go on a stroll, maybe perhaps we could ask our neighbors,
Hmm.
Bishmesh Bay, I think that was their names, if they're
Smash
around
and
us.
shake.
Yeah.
Yeah, see if they're up and around. Just having them, or Tibby
Let's,
even. I don't
and we
know.
can ask if they know what's going on with gardeners
Yeah.
out there, if they've been privy to whatever's happening. Okay. Um, should we close the curtains? Are there curtains to close?
You look at the door that leads to the balcony, and it looks like there are divots in the wall where there may have once been curtains. However, they have been removed.
Mm.
As a lady, I don't care for this. Well,
The room is not so small that you can't like avoid, the uncurtained area if you want to. Like you can
no,
step to another area.
totally,
But it's
totally.
yeah.
Yeah. All right. Well, Hon, should we go ask around a bit, see if we can figure out why there are people creeping outside?
Certainly. Are there any valuables you wish to take with you, just in case?
Um, no, I didn't really bring much of anything.
All right. Let's take a look.
Okay. I guess we would find either Tibby or the other folks we're here with and see if they're around, first of all.
Okay. Who are you checking in on first?
Um, I would say Tibby, since she and I just talked recently.
Yeah, you knock on the door, you hear her tired voice. Come in. You come in. The fuchsia potion is now like hot pink. And it is almost solid, like she's straining to stir it. Um, and you can see her just sort of like looking through like a couple different vials, adding like a drop of something here, a drop of something there. She looks up as you come in and banks the fire.
How's it going?
Um, it's fine. I might be a little rusty with a couple things. This might be poison.
Oh,
Um, but it's
okay.
okay. I have a lot of ingredients. It's just he's been fine for so long. I haven't had to do this in a minute, but it's okay. It's fine. It's fine.
Can I take a look?
Sure. Are you proficient with herbalist tools or a poisoner's kit?
Neither, but nature.
Okay, so you can make a nature check.
Let's go.
I would say not on the potion, but looking at the ingredients that she.
No, why?
Oof.
That was a nat one.
5.
Yeah.
All right. I mean, you glance at the things on the table, but enough of them have been chopped up or like put in tinctures or bottles or powdered or dried that they're not in their organic raw form, which is how you usually see things on trees. And that's what you're used to. You're not used to seeing dried herbs or prepared herbs. So you may, if you were to be really nosy, identify them by smell. This isn't something that you can really figure out from just glancing at them.
Yep. That kind of looks like poison.
Yeah, I
What
don't remember it being that color.
what ailment does the king have, if you don't mind me asking?
He has a coughing sickness where he just coughs and he can't seem to stop and he has trouble breathing. So there's a tincture I used to make to clear his airways. He's just when he was little, he was prone to fever. He was, there was something going through the forest. He was going to get it. So I
Sure.
tried to keep a pretty wide variety of girls around. And as I studied spell book, they did learn a couple magics to throw in here and there. Um, a little finicky and they take a while to do, but they would help nurse him back to health.
Yeah. Hmm. We actually have a quick question for you. So
Yeah.
we're just enjoying some cards, and I guess Hone noticed out the window. I I mean, I guess what you saw, the
The
gardeners.
gardeners were, I noticed that they've been outside all day doing their work, but it's getting quite late and they're still out and about.
Well,
Should we be concerned?
they're probably spies.
Eh, But should we be concerned?
Are you doing anything worth spying on?
I don't think so. But
Then
uh,
no.
okay.
Is it worth
Geez.
investigating or just leave it as is?
I mean, you might be able to figure out, who's paying someone to spy on you. You might not. They might give you a false name. They might not.
Hmm.
You might be able to bribe them in turn. You might not. There are people who are willing to, be bought for information, but you don't know how trustworthy they are. Um, I
That's
mean, we're a subject of interest, and I've made it clear that I only want our servants in the house.
Fair. I mean, I suppose we could just let it happen, and just, I guess, warn our friends not to, you know, do or say anything.
I do like the advice about seeing who's paying them,
It's true. I mean, if you're
but
willing to take the risk, we could certainly go.
I mean, I'm not one of the persuasion kind, but we did get lots of money.
It's true. Well, let's take a walk and see what we see out there.
All right. Thank you, Tibby, for uh, your advice, and I wish you luck on your cures, your potions.
Thanks.
Julian sort of just laughs a bit to herself, about how awkward Hone is, with other people. And as they go, she'll just say, "Great job, Tibby. Keep it up."
Wish you luck.
And
Well, thank you. Have good luck interrogating spies.
and I guess we'll go, outside, take a look at the, just, like we're just taking in the garden. Once again, this is a beautiful area, and we'll see what we see.
Yeah, Hone would be particularly interested in the herbs, I guess, that is growing. So probably
Okay, well,
might
are you looking at for the gardeners, or are you inspecting the garden for herbs?
kind of no, it's kind of like I'm pretending that I'm interested, but like kind of like, oh, you're there.
You can either make a performance check to make them think you're not noticing them. If there's
Let's do
an
it.
action you want to perform that to send them back with information to whoever hired them, you could make an insight check to sort of glean something out of them, but you wouldn't be able to fully concentrate on herbs if you did that. Or you could investigate the herbs, but you would be concentrating on that. You wouldn't be able to assess how these spies are reacting.
Nah, I want to focus on the spies, the gardener spies.
Okay.
So, how are we approaching them?
I don't know. What do you guys want to do?
I would sort of take a look around the garden and I would definitely just say hello at the very least to whoever's closest.
Mhm.
It's a beautiful evening.
Yes, ma'am.
Lo-
That's
Lovely work you've done out here.
thank you. Thank you. You can see it's a fairly slim, like small human woman. She has a sun hat on despite the weather or despite the time of day, and is kind of ducking her head as if to try and avoid notice.
Um,
But she's doing a pretty good job of like passing it off as humility. But with your passive insight, both of you actually, you get a pretty good idea that they're trying to be nondescript.
do you have any favorite flowers here?
Oh, uh, uh the the four daisies.
Daisies. Yeah,
Hmm. Love
they're
them.
they're beautiful. That's wonderful. Are any of
Right.
the other gardeners close by too?
They're all like kind of within earshot of
Okay.
you. Like you get the sense they may be like slowly positioning themselves to listen in on whatever's happening,
Yeah,
but not so close that if you whisper, they would be able to hear.
Julian would absolutely sort of like move a little bit closer, like position herself between the next closest gardener and just say, "How about you? Do you have any favorite flowers? Any favorite plants out here?"
Man, like a tanned burly man looks up. Daisies.
Daisies. Are they native to Pandere? Is that, I mean,
Yes, so
yeah,
native.
wow, that's excellent.
They're
Can
Well,
I because we can I roll to see if there were actually daisies in the garden?
yeah. Make a nature check.
Okay, that's a 14.
There are no daisies.
mhm.
Hone kind of narrows his eyes and he was like, that's interesting because I don't remember seeing any daisies in this garden when we walked around earlier.
Huh.
Oh, I thought she had just asked what my favorite flower was.
Um,
In the garden?
No, I just thought in
just
general.
in general, that's fair. That is fair. It was a broad question. Um, I actually have a couple more questions for you, and I'll pull out some coins. Do you have a moment?
Are you doing this surreptitiously at all, or is it in full view of the other people?
Oh, it's in full view.
Okay, the man looks down at the coin. Of course, ma'am.
So, how long do you plan to be out here watching us?
Hard to say. As long as everything's pruned, I suppose I can go.
No, no, I mean us
You
watching, and I'll point to the window of the room we were just in.
Afraid I don't know what you're talking about.
Can I make an insight check to see if I believe him?
Sure.
That is a 24.
Yeah, he's lying.
Yeah, great. Um,
yeah.
how about I give you 10 gold for you to be very, very honest with me.
Make a persuasion check.
17?
Right. He slowly holds out his hand. Um,
I'll put 5 in his hand right now and hold the other. Who's
Okay.
having you watch us?
Pockets the 5 gold. Which I believe it's 100 to 1 since a copper is a gold. So you basically just gave him $500. Um, ma'am, sorry, it's more than my job's worth to tell you that. You'll be here for maybe a couple weeks. They'll be here a lot longer. Can't go spoiling uh, my income, but I can tell you something else maybe.
Whoever sent you, are they looking for anything in particular?
Any especially volatile tendencies, blackmail, anything of note, any strong opinions?
Fair.
Frankly, no one's too sure who you are.
We like to keep it that way. And I suppose, are we in any particular danger
Not from my employer.
from any of the others?
I'd say I know him partially well.
Okay.
I don't think so. Of course, spies and assassins are given very different information from an employer. Trust doesn't go both ways.
You're right there. What's your name?
Beryllium.
Julian.
Nice to meet you.
I feel like I have a lot more I'd like to ask, but I'm not sure that you'll be able to share anything. Have you heard anything? I guess one more question, and then I'll give you the rest of what I owe. Have you heard anything about potential assassination attempt, either current or past, against the King of Vertoen?
Against the king? No.
Someone else?
Afraid I'm having trouble remembering, ma'am.
I'll hand the other 5 over.
Come to think of it, I think I did hear something about someone. It's hard to say exactly who, but I know there definitely was talk.
Sure.
Family matter.
Okay. Family.
Can't say I remember, ma'am.
Can I insight check to see if he's fucking with me?
Yeah, sure.
Ugh. I'm gonna use my inspiration to re-roll that because I
Okay.
20.
Okay. I mean, it's very clear he's asking for a lot more money.
Okay,
He came
fine.
in strong. He seems to. I mean, seems easy to
Yeah.
come here.
I can give him more.
Han will hand 3 more gold coin.
Kind of looks at your hand, looks back up at you, waits a moment.
Plus 5 more in there.
8 gold. He takes the gold fairly quickly. Doesn't snatch it. He's pretty gentle, but talk that Bromlin Nor's family quite unhappy with him as of late. He's been reportedly more paranoid. I can't confirm anything, but I've heard that Voris Kip doesn't have many friends.
Seems to be the case. Um, so you're thinking that Romlin's family wants him gone?
Mayhap.
Interesting. Well, this has been illuminating. Thank you so much for showing us the daisies. They are exceptional.
But there
Pleasure.
weren't any daisies.
The daisies, Tone. Just enjoy them.
Of course. Anything else I can do for you?
No, I think that's all I can afford for the night.
Of course. Daisies are expensive after all.
Clearly. But worth it. And Julian will head back inside.
Gives a nod. Is
Ona's
there
just
anything else? Yeah.
Ona's just awkwardly standing there.
Okay.
Daisies?
You're standing there looking at the spies, or are you continuing to
Yeah.
study them?
I guess Kel asked how much longer is his employer staying?
What?
Like how much
I'm not.
like
I'm a
how
little confused.
like how long is the spy's employer staying for? No? Because you mentioned no, you know what? Never mind.
He had mentioned that like you guys are visiting to sign a peace treaty, but he has
Yeah.
a steady source of employment elsewhere.
Okay.
So like once you guys leave, even if you pay him a bunch of money, he doesn't want to destroy that up, like what he has going on
Mhm.
by ratting out who he's working
Yeah.
for.
Yeah. Okay.
But if you want to go up to him, you can.
I don't have any more questions, or I can't think of any questions. So I will just head out too.
Okay. And follow behind Julianne. That was 23 gold you paid him?
I paid, I think, 15. And
Okay, so
then Hone
18.
added
18.
3 more. Yeah.
Yeah.
I've already begrudgingly removed it from my inventory.
That is well more gold than Scoria had at any point.
You guys were given a ton of gold before you
Yeah.
teleported.
Oh, I must not have added that. That's my bad.
Yeah.
Just left it on the
Yeah.
table before you teleported.
No. Yeah, we have
We
like 500 gold each.
Yeah, we should all have at least 500 gold.
Gotcha. Okay.
Price of
Like-
doing business.
Right.
Same.
Scoria, Brosco, and Beetle. I would say after this game passes, Therese gives you all a nod, stands up to leave. Well, no offense, but I don't particularly want to spend the evening with you. Good night.
Good night. It was a pleasure meeting you and enlightening.
Of course.
I'm not apologizing.
Neither is Beetle.
Didn't ask you to. She
How about
opens her mouth as if to
lovely-
say something, thinks better of it, gives Lenore a nod. Lenore gives her like a weary smile, and just says, "We'll talk later." He strides out the door. The two of them like seem to exchange like some sort of unspoken communication. Lenore turns and gives a nod to the rest of the group. Well, I'm not sure if you had genuinely wanted to pass time together, or you had wanted this information, it seems. That is something you did admit?
I mean, I was here for my own reasons, and the information was a byproduct for tonight.
Really?
I
Those reasons include just kinda
No, they invited themselves along because apparently they don't think I can handle myself.
I came to try and wrangle in that one, and he'll nod at Beetlebug.
Beetlebug just
Don't need assistance. I newfangled standards as it was.
Anyway, we
Beetlebug just thinks
genuinely.
that I'm going to get myself into trouble.
I am quickly learning that I don't want any part of that. So I came and we did come, at least, to this whole thing in good faith, genuinely. And we
with
still,
most of
we-
the trouble.
not to get thrown into a demiplane and sucked into a swamp.
Hopefully.
That was something I'm not a particular fan of. But we're still here with the hope, coming to an accord. That's what I got paid to do. I'm gonna make sure happens. That I'm gonna go. This is exhausting for him personally.
Roscoe like stands up. You realize you're in the middle of like a couch with people sitting on either side of you, and there's like a coffee table full of cheese and fruit in front
Oh,
of
he
you.
can step over people's knees.
Like steps over Beetle. It's like tiny and hunched.
Yeah, Beetle will just totter after him after casting. I think actually she will give the. I keep forgetting her name. This says a lot about me.
Lenore?
It is late. Not Lenore, her friend, the mean one.
Free
she
free
left.
left.
She left.
She left. See, I am so exhausted. I can't even think right now. I'll give Lenore a genuine, disgusting little beetle smile and say, "This was more pleasant than I was expecting. I hope we have more business in the future."
Really?
Pardon?
We came in good faith. We still are here in good faith.
Did not assume you would find that pleasant.
I enjoy a bit of sparring, and you are less. Well, your father's a very interesting man. We'll say that much.
Oh, I'm so sorry. Wasn't there a note that Han gave?
Yes,
I just remembered that.
look it out. Scoria does pull the note from her boot and say, one of our party members did ask me to pass this along.
Oh. May I ask you?
Hone, the elvish one in our party.
Ah, I shall take it and unfold it. Kristen, you can either speak it out loud or
Yeah.
if you want this to be a secret, you can PM me.
It just asked, did you try the tea? Did you like the tea?
It's cute.
Like it's not even like it just says, do you like the tea? And he doesn't even sign it. It's just that.
She like looks down, almost confused, and then like holds it over a candle for a moment, like takes it back, like peers at it, like takes a lemon wedge from like the cheese plate and like wipes it over the ink.
Just kind of smears it.
Looks back up at you, like completely mystified.
Rasco from the doorway goes, "We're not politicians."
Scoria
see.
does, as they start to walk towards the door, puts her hand on Lenore's arm and says, "It genuinely was a joy. I'm glad that we have our cards on the table and come to an accord. I do look forward to talking to you some more."
Oh, very well. Have a good night then.
You as well. I would love to stay longer, but I fear that they will just drag me out. It's more proper if I walk out on my own.
See. No, I know what having friends like that is like.
Strong and
Uh,
overbearing friends are a prize and sometimes a pain.
With well meaning.
Absolutely. And she will like lift Lenore's hand and kiss her hand and then walk towards the door. Oh.
Right? As you exit, making your way back through the corridors. Is there anything you would like to discuss either before you get back or after?
I'm gonna be real with you. My brain is so fucking fried. I can't think of anything.
Not in the hallways. That's
And
what-
not in the hallways. Good
Okay.
point.
You guys can retire to the room that you share, or one of the rooms that you guys all share, if you would like to meet up in a more covert area.
I do think that we should let Tibby know the suspect that we have pointed out to us.
Okay.
Remember, once we get back into the rooms, I would probably, yeah, I definitely am gonna pull out the notes. I'm gonna go in my room and get my notes and everything.
Okay.
And come back out and be like, Boris Kipf. Looks like an asshole.
Oh, look, they're back.
Yeah, what's up,
Grabbed
hon?
you guys.
How's it going,
towards
hon?
Wood as well, yeah.
We've
Uh,
got some information.
Yeah, I would very much love to hear how that all went down.
Personally, don't want to talk about it, but
I need a nap for a century.
Before we get Tibby roped into it, we will just have us all sit there, and Square will be like, well, just so you know, Lenore was there with Faris, and an accord was reached
Reese?
for some truth between us all. Faris had ferreted out that we are absolutely not politicians, and came at us rather aggressively, but in a way that showed she cared.
He sounds very unpleasant.
yeah,
We did share the truth about the demiplane, and some truths about what we and what the king and what Tibby has let us know are the lines that are drawn for this piece. And we also got from them a name of someone who, if they had to point a finger at somebody that had the power, either magical or political, to shunt us to this demiplane, and they pointed out Vorskipth as somebody that they would consider noteworthy to look into.
the notes I have on him are he was in favor with the previous king. He brought his own guard with him for this event. He has been having private meetings with a number of noble families, and he's married, but he has 7 children and only one by her. Her name's Juliette Arnaud, who she's in this list.
And this is Boris Kipf, you said?
Jesus Christ, let me. Yeah.
Well, Tibby gave me some information on Boris as well. Mostly, again, I think most of the notes that I have are about where these folks are all located. It says that he oversees Acromonium and the northeast coast up to the Bergamot. So I guess in conjunction with where Lenore and Faris also, that's kind of all in the same general area.
So she oversees this area here, and then she oversees this area.
Yeah.
Lenore oversees this area, and Faris oversees this area.
Yeah. Okay. Says that he has worked to make cities cater to the war effort to become profitable, which could really go several ways. He's a former naval officer, rose through the ranks, and was granted a title by the previous king. So,
So
I'm assuming that
he's-
by previous king, they mean the previous king of Fendere.
yeah. So
I just
he's
wanted to make sure.
If
So
it was the
it's-
previous king of Vertogen, that would have been like 250 years ago.
Okay.
so
We did
he's
also learn outside of what Tibby had said, although I suppose it makes sense with what she gave us, that he does not have many friends, it seems, among this group or anywhere, perhaps. Also, just so you're all aware, we are being spied on all the time here.
I expected that.
Oh
Sure.
yeah, I saw that earlier.
Yeah, well, shit, guys. The gardeners, for anyone who didn't know, perhaps just me, just be careful about what you say or do here. I did learn a bit about Romlin, and he apparently has some issue with his own family and may or may not be the subject of his own assassination attempt or something along those lines. There's a lot
Brasco-
going on here.
Brasco will flip through his book. From Lenore, he's been in a feud with his father since he adopted his children. He reportedly
Oh.
refuses to return home to the main Nor estate. He likes fine alcohol and he's very fashionable.
Interesting.
So that looks more like a personal dispute.
I know that according to my notes, he has 4 adopted children and no spouse. And if his family has issue, I wonder if those kids are safe.
I mean, it may also be a matter of sometimes adoptions. Sometimes the rest of the family can be a bit of a pain in the ass about it. You can look into it more. Also, some stuff on Faris. I didn't expect to see her tonight, but looks like she had a public argument with Voris a few years ago. She's close with Alian Kane, Elonia Nin. She's a good liar. She was 9 when the boat sank, with their parents and their close-knit family.
Huh.
Can I? Is anybody else around, or is it just us in the room?
Currently, I'm assuming it's just you.
What do you guys make of Tibby?
I mean, I trust her. I think.
I don't distrust her. She's got very personal feelings on everything going on.
She seems to have known the king for quite some time. So that's,
Yeah. I do. I'm just. I don't want to rule out anything strange. That's all. Anyway,
I suppose
think
we'll
she-
continue to keep an eye on her if she raises suspicion.
she just is she's very. I don't know if I'm worried about her or worried for her. You know, it's kind of flip flopping between those two. But I think we should definitely check out Boris Kipps and see if there's anything going on with Romlin or.
we have a lot of questions to ask. Also, you said that they know about us and our background. Does everyone know?
I think it's just them for now, but no one. I don't think they're going to go out publicly with it because
Okay.
Faris was uh, assured us that she would keep our secret if we were open and honest with her.
So we need to keep up our pretense to the best of our abilities then. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh,
I
wow.
mean, if she has ferreted it out, it's not unheard of that others haven't as well. But
I mean, it sounds like your honesty, I guess, wasn't met with too much animosity, all things considered, but I don't know that we would be as successful with others necessarily.
I I know that's the thing that gets me a little bit about Tibby is I don't know that us keeping this what happened to us a secret is necessarily the best move.
I yeah, I was just thinking, should we keep this a secret from Tibby because she didn't want us to say
Let's not.
anything to anyone, and yet
I think that we
Let's.
should not tell her that we have been found out. I do think that we should bring to her the name that separately we have all been uh, clued into uh, could be our prime suspect. Uh, but as far as she needs to know about tonight, we played a nice hand of cards and furthered our relations with a couple of the politicians of Pendere.
I agree.
Roscoe, something you said, it just, do you suspect that she is involved somehow in our detour?
I don't know. I don't know. I know that we first got here and she was working on a potion. It was purple looking. I don't know. I just
it also didn't seem like she was involved just because she was just so worried about the king as soon as we came back in a weird
she's
way.
very like I said, I don't not trust her. That's not quite what I mean. I'm not in the habit of ruling people out just because of one reason or another.
Sure.
So I just don't I think she's someone to at least keep a little bit of a close eye on. Just as a matter of she was there 20 years ago too. I like her fine. She's very sweet. I would hope it's not her, but just don't want to. I don't want her to go back to that stupid swamp.
Oh, that was fairly terrible, actually.
No more teleportation spells.
Yeah, that's pretty much put
Well,
me.
20 years ago, they didn't have a teleportation scroll. They were shunted to that demi plane while on a ship with other people.
True.
How did that happen?
I'm very curious of that myself.
You know, I I had spoken with Tibby back when we were training for all of this. I don't know what good that did, but um, I asked her about that day on the ship and what went down, and she said that she doesn't have much memory of it, but she did mention purple smoke again and again. We're seeing this, and I don't know if it's some unrelated factors or if this is all tied to whatever in the fallen grotto is with the smoke.
That's
I do
I don't
think that
know.
should search out Alien, and since we do know that he is uh, a friend of Lenore's and Therese's, perhaps we could ask them for an introduction. But since he does represent the Fallen Grotto, maybe some questions pointed to him just about his general knowledge could be helpful.
and now that we have divulged the things we've divulged to Lenore and Therese, sticking within their circle may be a good thing. Both because
As far as I could tell, they seem to be fairly straight with us. I mean, definitely not going to completely trust them. but I think they're going to be good allies to have.
Should hope so. We need as many as we can get. Huh.
I agree. I do think sticking with their sort of circle would be beneficial, largely because they can maybe get now that we've divulged what we've divulged, they've been frank with us, so maybe we can at least have a little bit of security in their sort of coterie. William Kane is close with Therese. He takes to his room claiming illness but never calls for a doctor. Not much income or trades. It's a gratis spell. There's a number of burn scars, but that's a rumor. He's reserved, likes to cook, apparently loves gossip, and attends most events. So he'll probably be there for the party.
He does, according to Tibby, regularly speak out against the war. I wonder.
Yeah, they seem. Didn't Lenore speak about him when we were with them this evening? And he's a pretty good dude.
I think so. I don't know. When I think about Vorus, he doesn't have friends here. Tibby's notes say that he has worked to make his cities cater to the war effort to become profitable. Well, if the war ends, what does that mean for him? So I think
What's his income?
Best case scenario, it would be difficult to negotiate with him, but more likely he will be working against everyone, perhaps including the King of Bertohan.
So he stands to gain the most should peace not succeed, which is a lot to think about.
I don't want to rule anyone else out, though. Just because this guy isn't liked, I feel like it could just be that he's an unkind person that nobody particularly cares for.
Pastor?
Yeah.
It's worth continuing to sort of look at these folks, at least as best we can, and maybe we can get more information from Lenore and Therese, because we're out for hopefully the same thing. Zen and Corson keeps a chilled greenhouse. He's someone we could talk to. I'm just looking at the botany stuff. Sorry.
I think this party that's coming up should be an excellent opportunity for us to even just see how all of these people interact with each other, let alone what we can actually glean from them.
Yeah.
It should be a good time. And if your evening, I mean, if I'm getting the correct impression, if that's what it's like with two folks, I can't imagine what things will be like with everyone.
We definitely should get our stories straight about our political backgrounds before we talk to any more of the politicians.
Probably a good idea.
Right. So if you'll remember, you were all given fake backgrounds that just basically said you were from a long line of, Vertohin natives and had been in the political scene for a while.
All right, so we're from Vertohin. We, even if, like myself, is not somebody who is usually from Vertohin,
Doesn't mean you couldn't be.
yeah, we will be much carefuler going forward with the new to politicians talk, because I could do the charisma, but I'm not very smart.
Frankly, I'm surprised that all of us were chosen for this particular job, but I trust that we'll find our way
That's the
through it
other
one way
thing
or
that-
another.
That's the other thing is he just kind of picked us up off the street, didn't they?
We were
We did.
chosen because we could take care of ourselves. And
Again, I'm not. Yeah, I'm just
And-
saying.
we just
Have to think
probably
about.
need to be smarter about what comes out of our mouth.
Likely. Yeah. I think the only one who hasn't gotten us in a bit of trouble is Hone at this point.
I don't know what to say.
Good job, Mom.
Keep it that way. You're our only hope.
You're
Please
only
don't.
hope, Obi-Wan.
Please don't.
I suggest maybe we wait until the morning to debrief Tibby. Let her
yeah.
get a night's rest, and then we'll.
I say keep your possessions safe in your rooms, but also, gosh, maybe don't be overt in hiding your things. 'Cause we're being watched.
Oh,
No.
speaking of, I cased my room earlier and found a secret hiding space in the wall. So maybe look around your rooms a little bit.
Oh. Huh.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's right behind my dressers.
That's cool.
Do you think the
I
gardener's
wasn't sure if I
wife
should
saw
use
you?
it to hide things, but
Who saw us?
I was doing my best to keep a lookout.
Just making sure.
You mean me when I was looking?
Mhm.
I was keeping a close eye out. I saw them out there, but I don't think they could see me. And I was explicitly considering. I mean, I was keeping an eye out, but I didn't put anything in there, so there was nothing to look for. I say we retire for the night and reconvene in the morning.
Get us a good night's sleep and come at it fresh. Come on, Beetle, let's go lay down.
Okay. You all
Uh,
make your way back to your
40
respective rooms.
minutes.
Yes.
I was gonna say before he goes to sleep, Brasco is gonna take out his violin and maybe spend a couple minutes playing it. Just kind of standing in his room and playing his violin for a few minutes, something. Just kind of, just a little bit of calm down time.
Can I hear that? My room's right next door. Would I be able to
Yeah.
hear?
I would say you and Hone are
Probably.
both have rooms nearby. Or no. Yeah, Brasco's here. So yeah. Julianne and Hone both hear like the faint sound of a violin playing for a little while. Where the house goes
Nice.
quiet. And we will end there for the night. Thank you so much to everybody who is watching. Again, my name is Maria Oglesby. I'm the DM, and you can find me everywhere at Maria Oglesby Art. Kristen, do you have anything you'd like to plug?
Me or?
Kristen, not Chris.
Yes, I'm Kristen. You can follow me on Twitter at Amazing Crazy Asian, and let's be friends.
And Chris?
Hi, I'm Chris. You can find me on the internet as Darth Reelish, and you can find me here 5 nights a week and on Exquisite Corpse Presents on Saturday night.
Right. Beth?
I am on Instagram and Twitter at Beth Masco. You can find me there, and you can find me here Tuesday nights.
And Allison?
I am at It's a Feral on Twitter. You can find me here on Tuesdays, here on Thursdays, and at Exquisite Corpse on Saturdays and occasionally Mondays, if they want me. And yeah.
All right. And unfortunately, Abby cut out, but I know you can find her at Enough of Abby on Twitter. And she's on a bunch of other shows. I think if you go to her social media handle, you should be able to find all of them. I think she plays a couple other characters. Thank you so much to everyone watching, and we will see you next week at 4:30 p.m. Pacific time for Misguided Magic.
Bye.
Bye.